Welcome to the second video in our course essentials for our astronomy class this semester. Again, I'm Dr. Lindsay. In case you somehow jumped into the second video of the course essentials, the third video in week 1 module without watching the previous two. Now you know who's speaking with you. The purpose of this video is to go through how you're going to be interacting with the course material and how you're going to be getting the course material delivered to you. So again, I'm going to pop up my slide deck and just get right to it so you know how to interact and where to get the core information. We don't have our normal in-class lectures in this asynchronous world where we're all online. How is it that you actually get the material, interact with the material, and more importantly, interact with me in a variety of different ways to actually digest that material and get more than just jumping through hoops and answering questions? Of course, the primary delivery method is our course textbook, which is something that I have created over the years. Here is just a screen capture of the front page of Canvas, where I have the course textbook. So you can just see, you can access the PowerPoints or the PDFs just by following these links. And again, you really want to go with the PowerPoints, as I'll demonstrate in this video. So let's go ahead and take a look at how I connect what's going on with our course textbook so you know what to be looking at and what to be reading with my course schedule. How do we get those two things to mesh up so you always know where you should be looking and what you should be reviewing when? So the biggest breakdown is I break the course textbook down into units, the big overarching parts of the course, and then each unit has a series of parts. Every part of a unit has its own set of lecture slides. So that's what you'll be downloading, a part of a unit. So you'll be downloading, say, Unit 1, Part 4. Then let's say that you have your Unit 1, Part 4 slides, and you're looking at the schedule, which will be in Unit 1, Part 4. We start that on week 6. And we'll start with Topic 1, which is all about what light is. How do you know what slides to go look at? So on Unit 1, Part 4, what I'll do is I'll abbreviate that as 1.4. The 1 is for Unit 1. The 4 is for Part 4. So I already know if I see on the schedule, I'm supposed to be going over 1.4, that's Unit 1, Part 4 slides. I know what batch of notes I'm supposed to be looking at. I also will give you what the topic is, so I break it out topic by topic. And then I tell you what slide numbers are associated with that topic. The slide numbers map directly to the PowerPoint. They should map to the PDFs as well, but sometimes PDF conversion adds a slide or subtracts the slides. It's really kind of odd. It's one of the reasons that I highly recommend the PowerPoints over the PDFs, but I know not everybody has PowerPoint. All right, so let's go ahead and use an example. So let's say that here we are in week 6, which will be 22 February to 26 February. And where you need to be looking at the thermal radiation topic, topic 2, thermal radiation. 1.4 tells me Unit 1, Part 4. And then those slides related to the topic of thermal radiation are covered on slides 16 through 36. And now you know how to navigate my textbook and associate that with what's listed on the schedule. Hopefully it's not too complicated. I think it's pretty straightforward. Again, I really work hard to try to make everything as direct and clear as possible. So more on why you should be using the PowerPoints. And more than that, when you're taking notes, not only can you add your own notes when you're in presenter mode, but I highly recommend that you just use presenter mode because one, it's going to fill your screen so it has your attention. And it's going to preserve all of these animations that I have laboriously programmed into them. I have gone a little bit wild in my animations, and they're not just fluff. Every animation I made is put in there to demonstrate a concept as I visualize it in my head, or the best way I can take, here's some concept we're learning about in class. Of course, I have my way of viewing it, and I'm going to be verbalizing that perspective to you. But I also have a series of pictures running through my brain, which is how I think about it. So what I've done is in times where I think is very illustrative, I have taken what's running through my brain, the pictures I build in my brain, and done my best to build that into PowerPoint animations. Hopefully that will give you a peek inside of my own head and allow you to see these more difficult concepts in a way that helps you connect to them and understand them. So I really hope that you're going to use the PowerPoint and use it in presenter mode. I've checked most of the PDFs and it looks like it's preserving most of the hyperlinks in there, but it doesn't always. And sometimes my slides have hyperlinks. The PowerPoints, I know, since I created them in PowerPoint, I know the hyperlinks work. So just another thing to think about. But I want to give you an example of these pictures that I have in my head of trying to explain it. I'm not going to teach you a lesson, but I want to go ahead and show you. I'm going to go ahead and take this out of presenter mode. So here's one of the slides that you'll be encountering soon. And if you're out of presenter mode, it's going to look like this. That's a whole lot of stuff going on with nothing really talking. Like, I don't understand what's going on with this slide because all the animations are just right there and not showing up in sequence or being animated. So let me go ahead and pop this back into presenter mode. And now you can see that as you click through, every time I click, it's going to add the sky dome and then the ground with that green circle representing the horizon. Then it's going to get rid of that because it's a little bit in the way, just to help you have a perspective of what it's like living on this earth, but you're sitting on the ground. Then it's going to show you that, oh, our entire perspective of the sky rotates as the earth rotates. And it's going to be popping up the appropriate text at the right time. So that's just one example of these animations that I've tried to put in that reinforce course concepts. As you watch the lecture videos, they will be animated and I'll be voicing over and talking through what's going on. Okay, so the slides themselves are the course material. It is your primary source of learning for this semester. I am confident that if I removed everything else from the course, you can still succeed just from the notes alone. I don't think that's sufficient to actually call this a course that you're paying tuition to attend, but I am certain that you could still succeed and pass all my quizzes and all of my exams and have adequate astronomical knowledge for me to give you a thumbs up of you understand astronomy to the level I want you to, for the University of Tennessee to say this person is educated by the University of Tennessee and they have an introductory to astronomy education. So it is your primary source. The lecture videos will add to that. And they'll really give you a different perspective and a secondary view and actually me describing what's on the slides rather than you just getting the information from them. But whenever you're actually interacting with the slides, what you should really be paying attention to is going through the slides and taking notes on the slides, not just reading them and think, I have absorbed this knowledge. Take notes on it. The actual physical act of writing it down is a critical step and that will elevate your learning. Writing down things helps you remember. It helps you retain information. It allows you to make those connections. There is stuff happening in your brain that when you're writing the notes, you are actually learning. So take notes, especially because vocab is hard, but vocab is our common language. There are specialized terms for every field out there. Those specialized terms are that field's vocabulary, their vernacular. You're not just going to innately get it. Writing down those vocabulary words and sometimes writing them down over and over again is a great way to get the fundamental knowledge you need to succeed. Because I'm going to be throwing these words out all the time because that's how I need to communicate astronomy is through astronomy terms. I know that these are new to you and I'll do my best to explain them as best as possible as we go through it. But for you to really get the definitions down, you got to take notes on them. The way I did it, and maybe I'm just a little bit of a crazy person whenever it comes to things like this, but I use this for my foreign language classes. I use this for every science class, every class I've taken. For all the definitions, I'd write them down, each one of them at least 10 times, maybe more. And then what I'd do is I'd go through and I'd either know the definition or I didn't. If I didn't know the definition, if I couldn't remember, if I couldn't reproduce it, or well, really do a best job of paraphrasing it in my own words, then I'd write it 10 more times. I know, that might be a little bit more than you want to do, but it worked for me, so I want to share that with you. As you're going through, if you see that there are example questions, make sure you know how to get the correct answer. That is good material for quizzes and exams and homework questions. All right, so now that we've got the vocab down, and if there are examples, make sure you work through them. a little bit of a primer. So I know there's a lot of information on my slides. That's because they're working as a textbook. They are an independent resource that you can gain astronomy knowledge from. What I've done to help you navigate that is I've color-coded my slide information. Important information that you need to know. So definitions and concepts and the supporting knowledge that goes along with those definition and concepts. I put in bold italics blue font. It looks like this. Those are the things you should know. So if you see bold blue, take some notes. Green font indicates where I'm extending course concepts beyond the level I'll ask on quizzes or exams. Maybe some of it will touch on homework questions, but it'll often start with a phrase for the curious. These are things that are beyond the scope of this course, but add a whole lot of context to the material that we're studying. Or it's just really interesting things, and it comes in a variety of different from a variety of different fields, a variety of different perspectives. Hopefully, whenever you see some of these, you'll read them and it'll really anchor that material for you. It'll give it meaning and context. Red font is occasionally used, and what it's doing is it's highlighting details that you certainly don't need to commit to memory. Often this will come in the form of, here's an equation with some text next to it that's in red that says, you don't need to know this equation, which you'll be like, yay, I don't like memorizing equations, and everybody will be celebrating. But the reason that they're there is it's a teaching tool for me. Having it on a slide is instructive. It is what is making the material get delivered to you appropriately. But I want to highlight to you that memorizing, say, the Planck equation is not something that you need or will ever need in this class. So I'll put it in red. And then that way, you know that it's helping you learn the material, but you don't need to know it. You don't need to commit it to memory. Okay, so let me now orient you to the lecture videos. The lecture videos really are a supplement to the text. Remember, I made it so that the notes alone are enough for you to succeed. What I've done with the lecture videos is every week in every module, it'll be 6 to 8, sometimes a little bit less, sometimes a little bit more, videos to supplement the topics that we've covered in class. They will be made available to you the Saturday before the start of the week. This is also when the engagement exercises will become available to you. And what I've worked really hard with these videos is most of them have their own independent slide decks, slides that you won't see in my textbook, slides that are pared down, they don't have as much text. They're a lot more colorful. They are giving you a different perspective. Because what I want to do with these videos is supplement your learning, not just read the slides to you. I want them to be something that adds to your learning experience. So I've spent a lot of time building in some pretty, I think, amazing animations, but I think I have decent PowerPoint skills. You're really the judge of that. But I've spent a lot of time and effort trying to design very instructive videos that come in smaller bites, topic by topic, that you can watch, rewatch, stop, pause. Sometimes there are interactive elements to it. But the videos are to supplement and really reinforce the knowledge. I think you can succeed in the class only by watching the videos, but you really, really should. I think that is a lot harder to do that without ever looking at the notes, and I think you'll run into some trouble. But the videos are so helpful. So please watch the weekly videos. I've spent a lot of time creating them. Out of all the things I've done in my teaching career, they are the things that I am the most proud of. So hopefully you'll enjoy watching them. Hopefully you enjoy all the effort that I put in to present this material in a way that's not the same as just reading my lecture slides. Okay, so additional things that I'm throwing in, because I want this class to have meaning and more than just jumping through hoops and a nebulous online thing. I'm going to try to have every week, starting next week, a video that's going to be under the larger umbrella of astronomy in context. Maybe I'll make more than one video, but I'll try to make at least one video a week. And what these videos are meant to do are take the lessons we've been talking about, some aspect of the topics of the week, and connect them to the real world, connect it to our daily lives, connect it to philosophical concepts, or just go on a deeper dive into some really, really fascinating astronomy type stuff. Like one of the first ones I want to talk about, well, you already experienced one of them kind of whenever the entire introductory video about our place in the universe. That would be a great astronomy and context video. One of the ones that I'm looking forward to creating to you is how our eyes see. We have light, electromagnetic radiation coming from all the sources out in the universe coming into our eye, but how does our eye actually detect that and turn it to the images that we see? How do we take electromagnetic radiation and turn it into our visual sense? Very everyday, because if you're very everyday type of things that add a lot of context and really, really make you realize that this isn't just esoteric astronomy knowledge. This is understanding the universe that we live in, and we all live in a universe. I'm also going to have special topic discussions. These are going to come out every week, and they are meant to be more fun and engaging, not necessarily the course material itself, but connected to the course material. So one of the ones I'll be releasing next week is a special topic about the question of what is time? Where did humans come up with it? How do we define time? What is the nature of time? I hope to have one about the future of human space exploration, where you can ask me about what kind of things are coming up. I can tell you about what kind of things are coming up, and you can even tell me what planet you would love to know more about, or what kind of next space mission you'd really like to see. And of course, a big one, life in the universe. Is Pluto a planet? Things like that. And I want to end this video by describing to you a live interaction feature, how you can talk to me face to face rather than just watching me on videos. And I'm doing that in two different ways. I have office hours, and office hours are, you've had a semester here at the university, at least one, you know what office hours are. I'm going to be available every Tuesday from 10 a.m. until noon, where you can log on. The credentials are all on the syllabus, so you can know the link and the passcode to get in. And the way that the office hours work, it's one-on-one time with me. I have a wait list, so I let in one student at a time, and you can ask me anything you need to know about the class, anything that's going on in your life that you think I need to know about, get individualized help. It is a time for you to come and chat with me in a one-on-one format. So only one student at a time. If you show up and you find yourself sitting around, it's probably because there's somebody else I'm already talking with. And when I'm done talking with them, I'll allow you in, and then we can begin our one-on-one chat. If I see that somebody's in the waiting room and it's like 11:50, I'm going to stay later. As long as you have time, I'm going to make myself available to interact with you, since live interaction is limited. The second way is sort of this nebulous thing that I'm calling Live with Dr. Lindsay. So every Thursday and Friday, Thursday is 3 to 5 p.m. and Friday is 2 to 4 p.m., I have a Zoom session that I'm going to be on. There's no wait list. It's going to be whoever wants to show up can show up. They're not mandatory. These are not classes themselves. And I expect them mostly to be question and answer sessions about what you're having trouble with. Maybe you're having trouble with a homework question. Maybe you want some information about studying for the quiz. Maybe something piqued your curiosity and you want to bring it up there. Every once in a while, however, I am going to prepare some material. And then that way there'll be a little bit of a presentation as long as people show up to receive it. But for the most part, it's going to be open-ended question and answer session, an opportunity for you to, as a class, interact with your instructor live, ask questions, get feedback, get what you need to succeed in this course, which is why I'm leaving it a little bit nebulous right now, because I've never done this feature before, so I don't know what's going to work best for you all. As we move forward in the semester and I learn that kind of knowledge, and I gain it, I will adapt these sessions to be as efficacious for your educational experience in this astronomy class. Now, there will certainly be times where there is structure. Every time there's an exam, these sessions are going to be exam review sessions. So you can log on, and exam review sessions are Q&A sessions, but we all know what the topic is. And you all have questions, and we'll review the material to your heart's content. I have an iPad, I can work out examples and things like that. I'm a little bit clunky, but by the end of the semester, I should be good at working with my iPad to actually work out examples and things like that. So those are my live interaction features. Let's see how they play out, but I want to make them offered to you. And this video is, wow, this video is really, really long. So instead of stopping this video and creating an entire separate video, what I'm going to do is invite you to use this time to hit pause, shake it out a little bit, maybe go get a glass of water, a cup of tea, a cup of coffee. And when you're ready, sit back down, but make sure you clear your head and you're not, or if you really just want to power through, power on through. But this is your opportunity where I'm saying, hey, it's time for a good break. No, the video wasn't frozen. I was just trying to sit very, very, very still. All right, so hopefully you're back from your break. You're feeling charged because I really do want you to pay attention to this next part. The exam and quiz policy for the class. This one is different. You have probably not experienced anything like this unless you've taken one of my classes. I call it the 2-attempt policy. So if you want to know all the gory details of it, read it in the syllabus. I'm going to describe it to you. And the backbone, the core of this is hopefully something that you can all appreciate. One of my guiding teaching philosophical principles is learning from your mistakes. I can't imagine something more human than making mistakes, or more human than when you make a mistake, actually learning something from it. It is sort of how we learn. And I want to give you the freedom to be able to make mistakes in a very low stakes sort of way. So I'm not encouraging you to go out there and just make mistakes on purpose, but I want to give you the latitude to be able to make mistakes and not have them detrimentally tank your grade. This is the core of the 2-attempt policy. So for every quiz and every exam, the first attempt, treat it as a regular quiz or exam. Be fully prepared. Try your best. Study everything. Be ready to get the 100 that you know you can get, or get the A or the B that you're aiming for. You will show up and you will take the first attempt. Quizzes are 12 questions long. Exams are usually 55 questions long. And on Monday, you'll have your first attempt on that. What's going to happen is after the first attempt, I will get all that information on how the class did. I can see what questions were the most difficult. I can see where people were struggling and with what concepts they were struggling with. I will read that information, think about that information, and prepare a response, a reinforcement of these are the topics that people had trouble with. Here's some more explanation. Here's some more examples to help you get to where you need to be. That way you're getting some feedback in a large asynchronous class. And as generalized feedback, I know that, but it's going to be in a Canvas discussion, so then you can continue to ask me questions. Maybe I didn't address something, or maybe I didn't address it in the way that you want, or you want more explanation. It'll be a Canvas discussion, so then we can iterate to make sure you get to where you need to be for Thursday's second attempt. And even better, or at least in my opinion, than me being able to see how people did on the first attempt and then giving you a second attempt after I've given you more information and more instruction. Even better than that is after your first attempt, if you're not happy with it, you know what you didn't know now. I mean, think about this. How do we know what we don't know if we haven't given something an honest try yet? And that's what the first attempt is about. You might feel like you understand everything perfectly, then you take the quiz and you get like a 9 or an 8 or a 9 out of 10. And you're like, oh man, I really didn't understand the solar day versus the sidereal day. You didn't know that until you were actually assessed on it. And now you know personally what you have to pay attention to. And you have days to prepare for it. You know what material to go look at and how to get reinforcement. And there's a Canvas discussion for you to ask me about what you personally need. And then you'll take the second attempt on Thursday. The way the grading works is as follows. If you're happy with your first attempt, skip the second attempt. So if you're happy with your first attempt, skip the second attempt. However, the first attempt is a must. If you skip the first attempt, that gets you a 0 on the first attempt. So let's assume you're going to do both attempts. You want to improve your grade. The way that I'll calculate your final quiz or exam average is the average of your first and second attempt. So you get an 8 on your first attempt on a quiz, you get a 12, you got 12 out of 12 on the second attempt, your quiz grade will be a 10. Notice that if you skip that first attempt, you get a 0. Even if you get a perfect score on the second attempt, averaged into that 0, that comes out to be a 6. And the reason I do this is so people can't game the system and topple it from the get-go. You can't just sit back and wait for me to give you more information to see what's on the quiz, and then basically cheat the system and subvert the entire system, thus making it not work at all. So, first attempt is a must. Second attempt is optional as an attempt to improve your grade. It will always be the average of your 2 attempts will be the final grade. Well, let me be clear about that. If you take both attempts, your grade will always be the average of the 2 attempts. All right, so just to be clear, you have to take the first attempt. Happy with the grade? Skip the second attempt. Unhappy with the grade? Study up. Take the second attempt. Your grade will be the average of those 2 attempts. And that's for quizzes and exams. Also, quizzes and exams, this isn't part of the 2-attempt policy, but all my quizzes and exams are open note, open book. Because I don't like the Respondus software. I'm not going to make you have some creepy camera watch you while you take an exam. That just doesn't sit well with me. So what else can I do? Just make everything open note. If I can't monitor whether you're looking at your notes or not, there's nothing I can do about that. Now, you might think this is open season for cheating, but I've been very, very deliberate in the way I design quizzes, especially with exams. My average exam, there are more unique versions of that average exam than there are stars in the universe. So you are certainly not taking the same quiz or exam as your friends, and it'd be a nightmare to try to cheat. So just don't. If I do catch you cheating, there are harsh consequences. All right, so that was the quiz and exam 2-attempt policy. If you want more clarification on that, see the Canvas discussion, send me an email, read the syllabus. I know that was a long video. Hopefully that break helped. And we only have one more course set of course essentials to get through.